Yo, I'm a Samsung and a Huawei user, and I'm not jealous of the iOS 15 that was released yesterday at all. Like, not at all. I mean, in some cases you should be, because sometimes you look at the iOS updates and you're like, well, we don't have this in Android, so the next Android upgrade should copy or get some of these, right? But in this situation, in some instances that's true, but in this situation it's not at all, because you look at some of these features of iOS 15 and we already have them in Android. I mean, everything comes years later in iOS, so that's not really a big deal, you know. So in today's video, we'll talk about let's look at the top four. Let's look at the top 4 features of the iOS 15, the most interesting ones, the ones that I found most intriguing and interesting, and also the ones that Android already has. So iOS 14 was a very big update, with a large update, so you shouldn't really expect much from the iOS 15. And just 2 months ago, was it in April, iOS 14.5 updates came with the ability to unlock your phone with Face ID whilst wearing a mask. That's a very big improvement, you know, in the current situation. But then iOS 15 though, what does it actually bring to the table? So first up, we start with focus, and this basically allows you to set preferred notifications for certain or specific instances, for example. But this is just around notifications and nothing more than that. So you could set a focus for work, for example, and this allows in notifications from workmates, colleagues, and maybe work-related stuff. Any notification other than that just you don't get notified for it. And you could set priorities for these notifications as well. There's a similar thing. I found that this is the closest thing to focus. In Android, we have something called routines in Google Assistant, and this basically allows you to set routines, and this is way more than just setting notifications for certain instances. So this allows you to do a lot of stuff. So my good morning routine gets fired up when I say hey Google, good morning, and it just fires up the good morning routine. It tells me about the weather, tells me about the day's calendar, my day's reminder, and then it plays the news for a couple of sources that I have set. So for example, CNET, TechBuzz, BBC, Al Jazeera, and stuff like that. It just plays the news for me, and when it's done, it just ends everything. I mean, so that's basically what the routine is. I could get to set and edit these routines, add more, take some out of it. So I found that this was the closest thing to focus. Its closest relative in Android is the routines and the Google Assistant. So the next one is going to be a camera improvement. Well, not really a camera improvement. There's this new feature added to the camera called live text, and this basically allows you to copy text in real time. Like, you're not taking a picture to copy the text out of the picture later on, but then you're actually copying the text in real time, like right there, right then. So basically similar to Google Lens in Android. So you could be walking down the street, see a poster somewhere, and want to call the number immediately. You could just use that, copy the number, immediately dial up. You could copy the text, paste it in your phone, in your dialer, and then you just call the number. It's basically the same thing as Google Lens. And you could translate the text. You could, well, you can't really play the audio, but then for the Google Lens, you could actually play the audio with the help of Google Assistant. So Safari has a new interface. Nothing really interesting there, but it's different from that of the previous iOS version. So now you don't really have the address bar and everything just blocking your way. You have a slightly bigger screen or slightly more space to work with above there. So when you're scrolling, it just sets at the bottom. And when you have multiple tabs open, you could just swipe on the address bar to scroll or move back and forth through tabs. Nothing really that impressive though, but it is interesting for iPhone users. This is something Google Chrome already had. So I mean, for those using Safari and are not really using Google Chrome because they don't want to, well, it's your loss, because we already had this in Google Chrome, and a lot more than just swiping through the address bar to move back and forth through tabs. So I said the best for the last, which is FaceTime, and a lot of adoptions here that Apple did from Zoom, trying to compete with Zoom. And I mean, like, a lot of adoptions that I wouldn't say they copied them, but this is very typical of Apple to try to, I get what they're trying to do, you know, I get what Apple's trying to do, very typical of them. They're trying to keep their users and fan base and ship consumers into their ecosystem. Like, there's nothing interesting outside, everything you need is inside. There's very little reason for you to go outside, and there's more reason for you to come in, and that kind of thing Apple is doing. I do get them. So yeah, a lot of improvements this time around.
around with FaceTime, ability to share links just like Zoom to other platforms, not just iOS. So users from Windows and Android can have access to these Zoom FaceTime links, Zoom links. Well, technically though, this FaceTime links through their browsers. I mean, if you want to use the app, you have to just get an iPhone, right? So I think it's a strategy Apple is trying to make people get hooked into the using FaceTime through their browser, so much so that they would want to use FaceTime philly and they'll have to get an iPhone, right? And it's like getting more people in the game than getting them out, right? That's basically it. Also, another interesting thing is ability to share your screen, just like Zoom, ability to listen together, so play an audio for everyone participating in the call to listen together and also watch together. This is basically watching a video or a movie together. There is also wide spectrum mode that allows everything behind you to be heard, background noise and everything. And also voice isolation, which is basically noise reduction that cuts out your background noise and puts your voice clearly in focus. Also, another thing that puts you in focus is portrait mode, which is basically a bokeh mode that puts you and blurs out your background. I mean, it's very helpful when you come and you're in a very messy situation or messy environment and you want to clear out your back, you know, to moving up and down, searching for a suitable place. You could just blur out your background and put yourself in focus. So this coupled with voice isolation just kills the game. So very interesting features we're seeing here. And I mean, I was hoping to see a much more intelligent Siri, but nothing like that, because Siri is lagging way behind Google Assistant. But I hope we'll see that in maybe a next update or something, a future update. Yeah. So till then, I'm Wise from Byte2Logged, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, stay safe, subscribe, like, share, dislike, comment, whatever it is you want to do, and keep wearing a mask.